Hello everybody, how's your headspace? Welcome to episode 16, Grief, an emotional response to loss. This episode couldn't be more personal for me. It's been a really rocky road this last 5 weeks, especially as this is always a busy time of year for most of us. In my last video, Time is the only currency you own, I ended that by urging you to lavish your time on those who deserve it, as you never know when your metaphorical time bank will run out of funds and you will go overdrawn. Truer words couldn't have been mentioned, as 6 days after putting that video out, the queen of our family, my dear Nan, passed away at the grand old age of 93. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye and be there for her last breaths. I was 2 hours too late by the time I'd received the news that she was in hospital and nearing the end. I called my brother to leave work and raced to the hospital, but even he was too late by 45 minutes or so. That poor sod was sat on his own in a room with her, not knowing that she had already passed. When we arrived, I just knew by taking one look. You can just tell, can't you, when the soul, the spirit or the energy has left the physical. Let's be honest. The physical, or what we see with our eyes, is just a vessel carrying the real you around inside. So what did I initially feel right there in that moment? Anger, briefly, like a punch to the stomach, extreme sadness, and compassion, just massive compassion for my brother, my dad, my uncle, my missus who was there with us at the time. Just grief in all its fast-paced ugliness. Part of me felt relief, part felt guilt. I felt anger for not knowing sooner and being able to comfort her in her last moments. Compassion for my entire family, because I could feel the extreme sadness. Guilty for not seeing my Nan the day before. Grief does strange things to people, and it knocks out normal behaviours and erases rational or logical thinking, and it can also spark fight or flight response. I soon got myself together, as others are looking to me for strength, and I remembered the sequence of events leading up to this moment. I always maintained a great relationship with my Nan, telling her everything, nothing was off limits. I always made her laugh, and once you set her off, she couldn't stop. It was amazing to see. She was as sharp as a butcher's knife mentally. The last time I'd seen her, I'd made her laugh and left the house showing love and feeling loved. I felt nothing had been left unsaid, that if this was the last time, then we are both at peace. I tried doing this with family, all family and friends, and I can promise you that if anything ever happens to me, or them at any time, I am at peace, knowing we laughed until tears ran down our legs. The strange thing is, I was awake until 3 a.m. the day of her passing, not knowing she was in hospital, but feeling like something was not right. That strange feeling of anxiety, waiting for the axe to fall. I was sat in silence, no outside stimulation, just deep in my thoughts, that there was a feeling of impending doom. Little did I know that 11 hours later she would pass. The even stranger thing is the way in which I plan these videos. I usually bullet point 5 subject matters in sequence. The last one was time, as you well know. The next in line, grief. It's almost like imperfect timing, a sweet agony if you like. But it's not my first time around the block, having had friends die young and family members taken away unexpectedly. It doesn't make things easier though. I think the main thing to remember is there is no time limit on grief. We all need time to process things. Each case is different. There is no real blanket rule. For example, when we was 18 years old, I had a friend from school who was an only child. His parents were really decent people. His dad was a carpenter and his mum worked in a supermarket part-time. They struggled to conceive, so when he came along, he was a miracle. He was raised well, polite and non-offensive. The family saved up to go on holiday to Barbados, which would sadly be his last. After returning home from a meal at a restaurant, the family stumbled across their villa being ransacked by burglars. On making the discovery, the burglars got spooked and attacked a family member with a knife. plunging it through their neck. My friend tried to help defend his family, but was shot multiple times. He was dead before he hit the floor. I still remember where I was when I got that phone call, standing at the foot of my bed in my childhood bedroom. A friend Adam called. I answered, and all he said was, "Have you heard about DM?" I said, "Go on, what's he done?" thinking it was going to be a funny story, but instead the next three words out of his mouth rocked my life forever. "He's dead, mate." Surely that was some sort of sick prank. This was before the days of social media, so I made a few phone calls and received a few phone calls, and we pieced together the puzzle between us. Disbelief, confusion, anger. We just couldn't understand how something so terrible could happen to such a nice family. I remember going to the house before the funeral took place. I had an English rose to lay with my deepest respects. The entire house was a sea of flowers and letters of condolences. I was so taken back by the outpour of love that I couldn't get my card through the letterbox. His mum opened the door and we just embraced, both completely sobbing. It was then that I realised it was real. Couple that to the fact that it was now all over the national news channels and all the national newspapers. I still dream about him, even to this day. Happy dreams, though, where we're laughing and joking. It's exactly what happened when I'd seen him last, in the weeks beforehand. It's been just over 20 years now, and although I can accept what's happened to him, I don't think the grief will ever leave me. As my friend Tommy G said, having lost his dad recently, who was also a friend of mine, a brilliant and very upright man. Tom said, "Grief is like carrying a stone in your pocket. You will always notice it's there, but as time goes on, you get stronger and the stone gets lighter." So what can we take away from this? What can we learn? What are the lessons? Well, grief is not a one-size-fits-all. It will hit people differently and sometimes depend on how it's come about and to who. For example, I grieve differently with the passing of my young friend to how I grieve for the passing of my 93-year-old nan. One was more of a shock than the other. I must stress here, though, that it's different, not less. You will probably go through different stages of emotions such as shock, disbelief, anger, sadness, guilt or regret. But don't worry, that's quite normal. Make sure you have good people, level-headed people around you during these times. Family members will likely be emotional, and this could have potential for the perfect storm of a big argument. Support each other rather than hurt each other. Remember that everyone is grieving. We just deal with it in our own way. And lastly, please bear in mind that there is no shame in grieving, in public or in private. Grief is not a disorder. It's not a disease or a sign of weakness. It's an emotional, physical and spiritual necessity. The price you pay for love. And as we know, love conquers all. So I just want to add, in the last 5 weeks, my nan's passed away. My dad's friend of 30 years, Phil. My poor dad found him in his house. And in the last hour, he just couldn't make this up. A good friend of mine and a brother, I won't give his full name, but John W. I've just received the news that he's passed. So rest in eternal peace, all of you. Don't forget to ask your nearest and dearest, how's your headspace?